Hello, my name is Joshua Enns, and this is History 320, the History of Africa. This past term it has been my privilege to study the country of Algeria. And unlike many countries within the great continent of Africa, Algeria has known relative constancy regarding its borders. The modern country of Algeria shares the nearly identical borders with the former French colony. The former French colony inherited its borders from the Ottoman Empire, and before that from the other Arab states, and before that all the way back to the Romans and even the Phoenicians. The influence of foreign powers in Algeria has created a constant nation state in that region. I say all this by way of introduction that while the borders have remained constant, Algeria has been a country that has experienced great change. In fact, to best understand the nation, one can examine various aspects of modern Algeria in light of foreign influence throughout the centuries. Algeria has known 7 major invasions in its history. It was first invaded by the Phoenicians, later by the Romans. After the Romans came the Vandals, then the Byzantines. After the Byzantines came various Arab groups, the first being the Umayyads. After the Umayyads came the Turks, or the Ottomans as they were also called. And finally, after the Ottoman Empire fell in Africa, the French Empire invaded Algeria in 1830. And so amidst all this great change, all this changing of allegiance, Algeria too has changed with the prevailing winds. In regards to religion, Algeria once was a nation that would have fit well with the pagan religions of Phoenicia, indeed influenced much by the religions in Egypt. After the introduction of Christianity to the Roman Empire, Christianity spread throughout Africa, but even here it always contained elements of syncretism. The Algerian people were continually mixing in pagan rituals, traditional rites, adding things into Orthodox Christianity. After Christianity faced a major blow with the fall of the Roman Empire. And after the fall of Rome, there was a vacuum created which Islam eventually filled. Now, Islam had an influence on Algerian culture and daily life unlike any other religion before or since. And the story of modern Algeria cannot be told without mentioning that 99% of Algerians today claim to be Muslim. It is a great carryover from that period of time in the early 8th century AD. The Algerians have also experienced much oppression under these rulers. Every single occupant, from the Phoenicians to the Turks to the French, considered the native Berbers second-class citizens. Whether it was through the Phoenicians conscripting them to military service or through the enslaving by the Arab rulers, the Berber people have underwent much in the way of oppression. Finally, with regard to the economic development of the region, it too has followed the trend of the foreign influence. Once trading post for Phoenician and Roman governments, Algeria was eventually taken advantage of for pastoral use, for sheep and for goats, as well as for agricultural use to supply the needs of the emperors and empires. The constant theme was that Algeria would be given things like art, culture from their rulers, while they would supply many of the necessities needed by these larger city-states and empires. The country of Algeria has experienced much in the way of upheaval from being invaded one nation after another. But it is through this lens of history that we can get a better understanding of the history of Algeria. One must understand the foreign influence in order to represent well Algeria. Thank you.